Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of That Real Estate Tech Guy. I'm your host, Jordan Samuel Fleming, chairman of Smartphone. A couple things to announce before I dive into this episode. First of all, if you're watching or listening to this, I want you to go to reitechunlocked.com, reitechunlocked.com. September 19th through the 21st in Dallas, Texas. It is going to be a phenomenal event. I'm co-headlining this event with Left Main, Stephanie Betters, and Steve Trang, Objection Proof AI. It is Facebook's coming, sponsoring. Twilio's coming. Salesforce are coming, alongside with some of the best names in real estate investment technology are going to be at this event. And this is going to be a 2.5-day event where you can get hands-on with that technology. With each of those companies, you can come in and leave with fully configured systems. If you're an investor, you need to be at that. Second is, I've got a book coming out very soon about how to reimagine your business in the age where you can have AI employees and people employees. So go to laborarchitecture.ai and check that out. Register for a free copy of the book when it comes out. Now today, I've got my man Keith Gillespie from REI Automated on today's episode. Keith is someone I've known for years because he worked in the Podio environment while I was working there, and Smartphones worked with him for years and years as an affiliate and as a partner. But I've only gotten to be in the same room with him very recently. We got to spend some time together at a mastermind recently, which was phenomenal. Keith has got a fascinating background as a Marine, and as someone who thinks very deeply about how performance works. And in this episode, we get to dive into how he's taken a lot of his um, both his training, but also his approach to his own real estate business with, upskilling himself by taking courses and learning, but executing. He's packaged all that together into REI Automated, where he's got not only the knowledge, the systems, and the coaching and accountability all rolled up into one. It is really phenomenal. Keith is very passionate about this. He's built a great team. He's scaling an amazing CRM. He's got this amazing training and coaching. And he's got a really fantastic way of implementing AI and agentic workers in his business to accelerate the software development and support processes. And he talks about that in today's episode. It's really fun. I totally recommend that you reach out to REI Automated, take a look at what they can offer. Reach out to Keith as well on Facebook, although do mind the spelling of his name. I'm sure we can drop the links into the descriptions. But for now, I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Keith speaking with me on today's episode. Hey, everybody, welcome. I'm here live with Keith Gillespie, my friend from REI Automated. Keith, for those people who don't know you, can you give us a little background of who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. First, thank you very much for bringing me on, Jordan. This is awesome. So first and foremost, I'm a real estate investor by trade. For the last 10 years, I've been investing nationally, 34 states, really. And so REI Automated was really my own solution to my own problem, frankly. I was active duty in the Marines, and I was, over the course of 8 years that I was active duty, I was overseas in 13 different countries. And so I missed the pregnancy of both of our kids. I was gone all the time. My wife had to reintroduce me to my children when I would come back home. And so I needed a lot of systems, and I just needed to be effective. I needed to be efficient because I really only had about 1 to 2 hours per day to build my real estate investing business, to get out of the Marines, to come home to my wife and children. And so it started off just by creating SOPs. Those SOPs turned into really good systems, which eventually turned into software. And it was never meant to be commercialized. It was never meant to be sold to other people. It was just, like I said, it was my own solution to my own problem. And about 6 years ago, really, we started getting a lot of traction really, really quickly. We started getting noticed by other people, and they're like, "Keith, dude, what do you got going on over here? Like, I need some of that in my business." And so about 5 years ago, we started another company, REI Automated, where we help other real estate investors build and scale their real estate investing business. We do that. We have a 3-prong approach, 3 pillars. Pillar number 1 is education, learning the business, different trades, sales, marketing, negotiation, deal analysis, so on and so forth. Pillar number 2 is going to be software. So we have deal analysis software, we have lead generation software, we have CRM software, so on and so forth. And then we have coaching as well. When we talk about mindset, we bring in other investors to help partner and fund people's deals.
So you are not the first person I have met in this industry, in this sector, that comes from the Marines. You're probably the 40th at this point.
Yeah.
Never did I think I'd know so many Marines. But
That's good.
all right, but one of the questions. So I get why I hand up. I have never been in the military. I do not think I'm necessarily suited for it,
Yeah.
in any way. But I can understand that there is probably a structure when you're in the military. There is by nature, there has to be a pretty heavy element of structure, responsibility, accountability, guidelines and rules and processes that you have to follow by,
Yeah.
because Jesus, it's a like in the same way there's a reason that there are, so in all dangerous or very dangerous occupations, they're heightened because of that fact. But here's the question. So I understand from a systems point of view, a process point of view, I understand why a background like yours would lend itself to a structure, and that you'd probably even seek one out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. But here's the question. You mentioned like knowledge base and training around things like negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
And because part of real estate is process, systems, and structure, but part of it's human
Yeah.
sales. How does, or does it at all, does the background from the Marines, from the military, I get why it affects the first bit. Does it train you or help you in any way on the second bit, the dealing with people, the sales, the negotiation side? I'm curious more than anything.
Maybe, yeah, I would say definitely not directly. Definitely not directly. The Marine Corps is very curt and direct. It's unpolished, but they also teach you to be very professional. So maybe it helps you with your people skills a little bit. That would be the only direct correlation. I think that there's two things maybe that I could attach to when it comes to indirectly the people skills, the relationships, and things like that. And so that would be, we have this thing called the OODA loop, OODA. Whenever you go into well, they teach you from like a gunfighter standpoint. Whenever you go into a room, right, there's bad guys, you're breaching the door. You've seen like the movies where you got 5 Marines stacked on so you breach the door, you go in, 1 man goes in, 2 man goes in. And the first thing that you're going to do, that the first O is orientation. You're going to like, what's happening here? Or excuse me, the first one is observe. What's happening here? I got to remember my own training here. The first thing that I'm going to do is observe, like, what's in this room, who's in this room, what's the layouts, things like this. And you're like, oh, snap, there's a bad guy in the corner. So then the second O is orientation. Well, now I'm going to orient my body, my plate carrier, my body armor, that direction so I can take a bullet. I'm going to orient my gun in his direction. And I need to observe what's happening. Now I'm concerned, like I'm getting my O's mixed up. It doesn't matter. I've got to go brush up on this, obviously. But I'm gonna observe, like, hey, that's a bad guy. He has a gun. Like, he has an intent to kill me. And so D is decide. Well, I've got to decide what to do, right? Like, hey, center mass, squeeze the trigger. Now I'm gonna act. A is act. Now I'm gonna squeeze the trigger. And then what am I gonna do? It's a loop. OODA loop. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to observe what just happened. Well, the dude didn't fall. He must have plate carriers as well. So now I'm going to orient, that's the second O, 2 to the chest, 1 to the, like, not to get, this is kind of crazy to be on a podcast, but now I'm going to decide what to do. I'm going to act and I'm going to observe something different. The reason why I bring this up is because from a relationship standpoint, you are constantly in this OODA loop. Whether it's relationships, whether it's negotiation, whether it's it doesn't matter. But very much so with people, it's like, let me see what's happening, adjust myself accordingly, make a decision, act, and observe. And we do this, and it's not just Marines, it's not just military, but any like law enforcement officer, firefighters, EMS, first responders, anything like that, we are really good at processing information and looping through this very quickly. And this helps relationships so much, and it helps decisiveness as well. The second thing I think indirectly may help is just our grit and tenacity of embracing the suck. We don't really care how bad the situation is. Like, hey, we've got to come in. We have a mission, and at the end of the day, the goal is to execute the mission and get out of here.
I mean that I can understand only in a theoretical sense, but it's funny when you talk about your OODA sort of principles. I'm learning to fly a plane right now, and we have an acronym called DODAR, which is diagnose, options, decide, assign, and review.
Cool.
So
Almost the same exact thing.
mhm. It's
Like
it's
almost the
exactly
same
yeah.
exact thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and now minus the gun, and but when something happens when you're flying a plane, one of the things, and I've talked about this before. Weirdly, one of the things I've learned as I've been in the process of learning how to fly is you have more time than you think,
Mm-hmm.
and actually rapid reactionary action is rarely correct,
Yeah, it's bad.
right? It's
Really bad.
usually very bad. And that taking that breath, that pause to properly decide to
Properly diagnosed.
and decide usually leads you to a far better decision, because having a 10 seconds where you go, okay, here's where I am, here's the situation, okay, now I'm going to take action,
Yep.
is usually going to be a lot better. So
Yep.
I don't know why that came into my mind when you were talking about that, but it's similar concept, very different circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so let's go. One of the things I think is interesting about about REI Automated, and uh, uh, we have worked together from a smartphone and REI Automated's point of view for a long time. We've got a
Yep.
history together, and I'm delighted to say that history is going to increase
Yeah.
dramatically and significantly very soon
Yes.
in both integration and with some of our agent work together and all of that. But one of the things I find really interesting about your uh, ecosystem is that it is an ecosystem. It
Yes.
is not just a CRM and a set of tools. It is the combination of training, knowledge, coaching, and tools.
Yep.
Where a lot of people just sell the systems. A lot
Yeah.
of people just have the coaching. Did you have a conscious desire to bring all that together because you knew people needed it, or because you felt like that would make you more sticky? Like, what was your feeling as to why that was such an important melding?
I love talking about this. At the end of the day, Jordan, I want to be the person and the company that I wish I had 10 years ago when I was getting started. A little bit about my history is I actually just signed up for my 58th course. So I have completed 57 real estate investing courses from some of the biggest names: Fortune Builders, Rich Dad Poor Dad, John Martinez, Dean Graziosi, Brad Chandler, um, you know, some of the people that we know personally, like Tiffany High and Chad Lauer, Tom Kroll, all to huge names like Pace Morby. Basically anybody who has been great in the industry, I've taken their course. I paid the money to accelerate my learning curve. And here's what I've realized is if you just have the education, 99% of people will fail and or quit. They will burn out. There is no and again, I'll go back to the Marine Corps part of this, but theoretical knowledge, I don't know how PC your podcast, you like to keep your podcast, but a lot of people freaking they go through these courses and it's just mental masturbation. It feels really good and it ends up doing nothing for you because you don't execute. You don't just need the education, you also need the practical application. You need the system, the tool. It's like if you know how to fish but you don't have a fishing pole, the knowledge in itself is useless. It's potential power, but unexercised, it's worthless. And then I find, so step one is education. Step two is having the system, is going out and applying it. But then we all know freaking this whole real estate realm is like the wild, wild west still. And there's a lot of changes coming down the pipe when it comes to legislation, when it comes to TCPA, when it comes to wholesale. I mean, when it comes to AI, my God, there's so much that's changed in the last 20 months or so when it comes to the landscape of the real estate investing. And you need to have people in your corner, because you're going to come up against an obstacle, an objection, a question that you don't know the answer to, somebody who's trying to screw you. You need to have somebody in your corner who has been there, who has successfully navigated this treacherous water, not just themselves, but with hundreds or thousands of other people as well, who's up to date on this stuff, to hold your hand and walk you through. And so I think that this is the reason why we have this 3-pillar approach. If you just have one ingredient, it's like baking a cake. You have to have flour, you have to have eggs, and you have to have sugar, right? Like the frosting, it's optional, not really. It better be cream cheese frosting. But I'm saying you have essential ingredients. Otherwise, the cake's not going to come out successful. In my opinion, I'm very convicted in this. You have to have all three of these. You have to have the right education, you have to have the right systems, and you have to have the right support. If you take out one of these elements, that's an essential element, you're going to fail. It's a matter of when, not if. And you're going to burn out, or you're going to make a mistake that takes you out of the business.
Now, I'm sorry to interrupt this amazing conversation, but I wanted to make sure you knew that Smartphone, the only phone system built for real estate investors, connects to the best-in-class real estate investing CRMs. And because, as it's my show and I am co-founder and chairman of Smartphone, I got some great deals for you. Click the link and take advantage of 5,000 minutes free calling with Smartphone, the only phone system built for real estate investors. Click and call. Close more leads. Back to the show. I can understand that, and I think it's a really powerful, I think, in general, I see a large trend of coaches and communities, particularly real estate investment coaches, where they've decided, and they'll upsell a CRM, but it'll be a high level CRM that someone built for them, or someone else, or maybe they'll have a real flow system that they do, because Don's team's amazing there. But it's often as an add-on because they want the revenue.
Right.
I've only seen a couple people, and I would imagine, I don't know your system as well yet, but I've only seen a couple people who kind of truly meld the method with the madness. Right? Truly meld design their system to execute the processes and structure that they teach. Most people's systems are very separate intellectually or philosophically from their training. Most people will be like, here's how I teach you this. By the way, here's my high level CRM. And it's whatever amount of months, because they want the affiliate revenue stream. They want that revenue stream. You, and I can think of one other person who have really built both coaching methodology and systems together. Tell me, when you come about, like, obviously you built the first version of REI Automated to scratch your own itch. How do you navigate when you start building a commercial product and other people are using it? People who are paying to use it. Feedback and user desires come into play. How do you navigate philosophically yourself, if you don't mind talking about it? Where the difference between what you believe is correct and what a user group may decide they want.
This is the most fun and the most challenging part of the technology. And I'm certain that you yourself, you have more experience in this than I do. But for the last 5 years, this is probably something that even keeps me up a little bit at night. Because here's the thing. The answer to this is really, really simple. Alex Ramosi teaches, any great business person is going to tell you the same thing. In order to have a successful business, you really only need two things. Number one, your service, let's talk about SaaS, software as a service. Your service needs to get people results. If it's crap, nobody's going to stay. You're going to get bad word of mouth. You're going to fail. So first and foremost, it needs to get your customer the desired result. Second, your customer service needs to keep them happy. Because if they are getting the result, but they do not like working with you, they're going to leave. Whereas the opposite, maybe they love you to death and you've taken really good care of them, but your software sucks and it's not getting the end result, then they don't have the money to pay you. Either way, if again, these are the core, like essential ingredients. If you take one of them out, the business fails. So this is literally our mission. Get clients results, keep clients happy. Also, when it comes to a commercialized aspect, all you have to do to be successful is to listen to your marketplace. And so this is what I tell people. The answer is yes, unless it's wrong or illegal. We'll build whatever you want as long as it's not wrong. Because I do think that there's things that are potentially they're legal, but it's like, no, hold on.
Ethically wrong.
This is a bad thing to do. This is built on bad business principles. And I think that there's the opposite is true. So anyway, I don't want people to do anything bad, something that's going to harm other people. I also don't want to get sued or go to jail or anything, right? And so our system is nearly automated at this point. Here's what I mean by that. We have 24 agentic AIs. And when a user request comes in, we have so much documentation. It's perfectly organized. It is really system requirement documents, system requirement, SRDs. We have everything documented. So when a user submits a support ticket, automatically an agent goes into discovery and finds all the information about how are we currently structured. Then, simultaneously, we have an agent going out and doing internet research, finding out how other people have built the thing that our client is wanting. Then it goes into the planning portion where how we've currently structured the infrastructure of our business can meld with this new thing this new feature request. That goes into planning. Then we build it out. Then we test it. And if it breaks, then we send it back to the original thing. Well, what do we need to change? What do we need to change? How do we plan it better? And it continues this loop until it passes the test. Then we have a human come in and test it. Once it passes the human qualification, then we push it out to production. The reason why I explain all of this is that takes about 50 minutes on average. We're at 50 minutes. And on a light day, we're pushing out about 24 updates. And on a heavy day, we're pushing out about 70 updates. And so yesterday, we got about 51 or 52 updates pushed out, by the way. And so I really encourage people, hey, submit your request. Like, we're going to build it out. I've noticed that the bigger we grow, the infrastructure of REI Automated, it's like people have asked me, well, Keith, how do you know what to build next? And it's really as simple as, well, when we were this big, the next natural step is something that's touching where we currently are right now. And so as we've layered on components of our CRM, lead generation was the next best thing. After that, it's like, okay, now we need this deal analysis. After that, now we need the project management. After that, we need so on and so forth. And so we just keep on layering. It gets bigger and bigger, so we have more surface area, so we grow faster. It's been an amazing journey, man. It's been so fun.
I'll be interested to watch just how that structure you have in place changes or may need to change as you scale. Because as you scale bigger, like having dealt with and built a software company that has thousands of companies using it, I think that it'll be fascinating to see how that does scale, because there's going to be challenges around that. But I think what's really interesting is as well though is by you guys keeping a very lean approach to development in that way, there's no reason you can't continue to keep that, providing your infrastructure kind of continues to support that.
Yes.
Which is always the infrastructure is is the Achilles heel of half the systems out there because they simply can't flex the way that they're needed to.
Yeah. And
Um,
I mean, we've grown tremendously just in the last 8 months. I think 8 or 9 months ago, we only had 6 agentic AIs. But as we've built this thing out, those agents actually, they're, as you know, as you're trying to train an agent with document, the more information they have to filter through, the lower the quality is of that agent. And so we've really like parsed down like this agent's only doing this thing and this agent's only doing this thing. And those system instructions, every single one of those agents, as they learn something new, are required to update their own project instructions. This has been super, super helpful because then we're not having to train them. They're kind of, it's their self-healing is what we call it. As they come into a fix, boom, they kind of fix themselves for the future.
yeah, the power of agents actually doing work like that is unmatched. I mean, we now train our voice agents. We train them using agents to train, and they can do not only can they do all the training, but they run about a 40-page testing script where the agents decide how to test themselves, and then they just simply make calls to themselves
Yep.
to handle the calls and see how the one agent will call another agent to see how the agent handles the call. And
Cool.
all of that just automatically happens and happens in about 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, that's way
Like
fast.
it's actually, the hardest bit is actually gathering. The hardest bit is still the decision of what to do.
Yeah.
The taste and the ability to pinpoint the how you describe things and how you're
Yep.
that's the hardest part of the whole
Yeah,
process,
I agree.
because once it's defined, agents can take the ball and run like hell.
Yep.
Defining it is the tricky bit.
Right. We run into the same thing. So much so, dude. We last week or 2 weeks ago, people will submit support tickets, and they're not well worded, right? They're not speaking developer language, and so you read this support ticket, and you're like, uh, what do you want me to do with this? So it's a little bit frustrating reading this support ticket. Well, what we've actually done is we created an agent last week. Its sole job is to rewrite what the support ticket's actually meant to say. That's it. Because we were dealing with the same thing. It's like, dude, what do we do? How do we describe this? What exactly is the right words here? Because words mean things, especially when an agent is doing something fully automatically.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, words mean a lot. It's funny. I don't know if you remember when you set up the voice agent that you're using. When you type in your company history, we've
Yeah.
got an agent that goes in
Yeah.
and essentially retypes what you've done in simplified language,
Yeah.
because so many people just waffle on that our agent just goes in and goes, no, 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 you need to say
What
it.
it to be. Yeah.
Like, the agent, don't overcomplicate it for the agents.
Yep.
But I think your point there is really going to be, and people don't understand yet, the specificity of it. The danger is not that agents can't do the work. The danger is the agents can do the work
It's the wrong work.
and do the wrong work.
Yeah.
So the guardrails, the boundaries, and the contextual understanding becomes the real critical element, because
Yeah.
the productivity is no longer the issue.
Yes. Yes. And going back to your flight thing, I don't remember what the acronym was, but I remember that the D is diagnose.
Diagnose.
And man alive, that is the most important thing to do when you're dealing with agentic AI that is fully autonomous, is diagnostics. And so that's actually why we have a dedicated researcher just for our documentation, a dedicated researcher for outside documentation for the new plan, and then a dedicated person to put them together. Not trying to do this into, squeeze these two together or these three together. God forbid, that'd be way too much. The reason why we break it up is simply for that word alone, which is diagnose. If you have the wrong diagnosis, it's kind of like in the medical field. If you have a wrong diagnosis, it's considered malpractice. Well, we kind of have the same feeling in REI Automated, where if we build something that the client doesn't want, it's our own fault. That's malpractice. Let's figure out exactly what is needed, build it right the first way, test it, ensure that it works twice, human and agentic AI, and then push it out. Our clients, by the way, they're basically in love. Like we pushed out the CRM initially to our beta users all internally in November of 2025. And public launch was March 1st of 2026. And since then, dude, like it's been absolutely amazing. The feedback that we've gotten, like really positive feedback of I love the system. We got off of Podio. We were using Podio for 5 years. We were built on Podio. And so the difference from going from Podio to now going to something that we custom coded, it looks how we want, it acts how we want. There's absolutely zero limitations. If you can think it, we can build it type of thing. It's been liberating, Jordan. It's been so cool. And that's what these folks are saying. And also the just the amount of retention of our clients. That's the reason why people were leaving REI Automated, is because we were built on Podio. They just didn't like that. It's a little bit, antiquated. It's a little bit old. It's a little bit obsolete. It looks like it's built in 2010 because it probably was. But it's been fantastic because now people are like, whoa, this looks really good. It feels really good. And we're building out so quickly. Somebody will submit a ticket tonight and they'll log in tomorrow. It's already built out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know you were built on Podio. I was in Barcelona with the Podio crew last September. I was meant to be in Nashville last week with them, but they changed the dates, so I couldn't go.
Oh, dang.
But I think they're gonna come to they're going to come to our REI Tech Unlocked event. Podio is going to sponsor the event, I believe.
Cool.
They're going to come to that. It's going to be an interesting. Podio itself is going to be an interesting journey over the next little while, as they've been bought by an actual software company now.
Yeah, good.
Let's not dive into that. This is the REI Automated part.
Yeah.
Now in terms of so if you were going to class sort of the REI Automated system, in terms of its absolute kind of the avatars that really are going to resonate most with it. Because if I think about the real estate industry, I think you've got sort of 60% that are getting started or figuring it out. You've got sort of 30% that have genuine businesses that are really scaling and they're doing decent. They're building something, and then you've got a 10% that are really top notch, that have built significant businesses and are doing hundreds of deals a year, and and have fully built out teams and structures and all, and can sort of have a truly asset in a business. But it's sort of a 60-30-10 in my opinion.
I agree.
And that's kind of how our customer base goes. In terms of the people who would benefit most from REI Automated, I mean, you could say everybody, but who would you say, if you're listening to this and maybe you're a smartphone customer already, and you're maybe, don't have a CRM yet, because we've got hundreds of people who don't have CRMs yet using us.
Yeah.
What is the reason why REI Automated can really help you as an investor, and what level of investor do you need to be to work with you guys?
Cool.
Yes.
So when it comes to, I'll answer in reverse order. What level investor? This is pretty friggin' easy to define for us. If you've done less than 50 deals by yourself, we are for you. If you've done less than 50. So if you're a acquisition manager and you've closed 800 transactions, not by yourself, working on a team, you're still for us because you've done less than 50 by yourself. And so that would be the qualification all the way from zero. Like, I legit have people who come in, they don't know the difference between a townhouse and a condo. They know absolutely nothing. They've maybe never even closed on a house to include their own single family residence. So from 0 to 50 by yourself, that's our market, which honestly, dude, that's like at least 90% of the real estate investors that are out there. Um, to answer your other question, why REI Automated? There's really two reasons to come to us. And again, there's only two. I'm not going to sit here and talk about all the every CRM's the same. It has the same basic functions of here's the contact information, here's your text history and your call history and blah 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 blah. The reason why REI Automated differentiates themselves from any other CRM is because we have everything tied in together and everything is automated. So you no longer have lead generation over here and your ringless voicemails are over here and your KPIs are over here and your deal analysis is over here and your file storage is over here and your e-signature, DocuSign, PandaDoc, whatever is over here and your property management is over here. Blah, everything is freaking everywhere. And you try to integrate things with Zapier. I was one of Zapier's biggest clients. At one point in time, we had a bill of $31,000 going to Zapier. We had like millions, literally millions of zaps happening in a month. It was catastrophic for us. Everything was breaking all the time. That was the moment where I was like, dude, we're gonna pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for this. I could literally bring in a whole, and I did, 18 virtual assistants to help me freaking build these integrations out and not be paying Zapier. We need APIs, we need webhooks, we need everything other than Zapier. So I see a lot of people trying to tie everything together. We have everything under one roof and everything is automated. We have 389 automations built in. Every stupid, mundane, repetitive task that you should be doing, all the admin, all the logistics, all the follow-ups, all the notes, all the checking in with that person, automated. It's all in one spot. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is we take care of our people really freaking good. So far, I don't think we've had one person leave the CRM. And we're only what, November to 7 months. But we've had quite a few people come in during those 7 months. I don't think that we've had one person leave. Why? Because they want something? The answer is yes, as long as it's not wrong or illegal. We've built it out for them super fast too. And so if you need something changed, if you have a problem, if you have a question, if there's a bug in the system, if you have a feature request, submit a support ticket. We have a staff of 9 humans and 24 agentic AIs. We will get it done.
Okay. Well, let's close this podcast out by driving people to you. So if someone wants to find out about your coaching, your education, and REI Automated, what's the best way to get in contact with you? What's the best way to take a look at REI Automated and see if it's the right fit for them?
Cool. So I have 2 things that I would direct you to. Our first is our website. So our website is reiautomated.io. We have a demo video on the .io one if you want to look at and that has information on the education and the software and the support. And then you can go down the rabbit hole of each one of those. So for example, like if you only wanted, you're like, Keith, I'm educated enough and I don't need a coach. Really all I need is a CRM. Then you can go down the rabbit hole of reiautomated.io/deal base. Deal base is the name of our CRM, for example. So that's super helpful. We also have a long video. I think it's almost an hour long where I literally explain everything about the program, all of the courses that you get, all of the softwares that you get, all of the coaching that you get, the time frame of our program, how much is it going to cost you with time, your energy and money, the different packages, price, and blah, blah, blah. It's all there. Literally, I've taken thousands of sales calls. That video answered every single question on every single sales call that I've had over the last 5 years. I took the transcripts, I threw it all in, and then I built that video. So if you have a question, it's going to be answered in that 55-minute video. If you want to get in touch with me personally, honestly, Facebook's probably the best way to go. Just find me on Facebook. My name is spelled weird, though, so look up Keith, and then Gillespie is Gillespie. And if it has that spelling, there's only 2 of us in the world, so I think that you'll find me.
You, All right. Well, listen, Keith, fantastic pleasure. I mean, I'm looking forward to, we've got a lot of things that Smartphone and REI Automated are doing together right now.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Really excited.
Really excited about that. Definitely excited to see the growth of your system and continue, and to watch how that goes. And also really fun to learn a bit more about some of the background to why, I always think why people start systems is interesting
Yeah.
because it usually speaks to that mentality that's going to help you understand why the system will work for you.
Yep.
So I appreciate you popping on and sharing that with us, and thank you so much for joining us on today's episode.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for listening to another amazing episode of That Real Estate Tech Guy. Head over to thatrealestatetechguy.com to check out all episodes and get special discounts on tons of awesome real estate technology platforms.